day students. So today we are looking over here at clustering k-means method. Okay, so let's understand what is means. K-means is a partitioning technique under clustering. Okay, and it is called a centroid-based technique because the clusters that we form are represented by a centroid Ci. Okay, and this centroid happens to be the center point of any cluster that you form using this k-means technique. Now let's look at the algorithm of k-means. Okay, as I said, k-means algorithm is based on the partitioning technique under clustering. Okay, and these clusters are represented by the mean value of the objects in the cluster. So for the k-means, okay, we need two inputs. Okay, and those two inputs are the number of clusters, okay, which we will indicate by k, and obviously to form these clusters we need data objects. Okay, and those data objects will always be in a data set represented by d. So what is the method of this k-means algorithm? Okay, we have to arbitrarily choose k objects from the data set d. Okay, it's nothing but in the data set, okay, we are having certain objects. Okay, those objects we have to randomly initialize, okay, as the cluster centers. Okay, so that is we choose any you can say that the number of clusters that I want to form. Okay, so that many values I have to choose from data set d. Okay, and these I have to then once that is done, okay, what I have to do is based on the mean value and the closeness of the mean value to the to this n objects, okay, n objects in the data set. Okay, we have to assign these n objects in the data set to the clusters that we are going to form. Okay, then once the clusters, or you can say when the clusters have been formed, okay, what we do is we calculate the cluster mean, this cluster mean, okay, that we form, that we calculate. Okay, now once the cluster means have been calculated, what we do is we repeat this step, okay, from step 3 and step 4. Now the thing is, till what time do we, or till what stage do we keep on repeating, or we go in the loop? Okay, once we reach a stage where we observe that the clusters which are formed in the two consecutive iterations, okay, do not change, or there is no updation in the cluster, okay, that is the data objects in the clusters remain consistent. Okay, this forms our stopping condition, or you can say that this is the indication that we are not going to get any further change in the results. Okay, our clusters are not going to change, the data objects are fixed into the clusters, and that is the end point or the end game for our k-means method. Okay, and the output as expected, what we are going to get, we are going to get a set of k clusters. Yeah, so that was k-means about the one-dimensional data set that will be giving. Now we have another sort of k-mean variation where we can perform k-means for a given data set if it is a two-dimensional data set. Okay, so how does this? Now for the very first time, what we have to do is we have to randomly choose a centroid, or what we can say that we have to randomly choose a mean value. Okay, now how many mean values we have to choose, that depends on the you can say that depends on the k clusters that you want to form. Okay, if you want to form two clusters, okay, if your k is equal to 2, that means you have to choose two mean values. If you're forming three clusters, that means your k is equal to 3, that means you have to choose three mean values. Okay, so the very first step over here is to choose randomly the centroids or the mean values for your cluster. Okay, then what you have to do now, this is second step, is the most important step. Here you have to calculate the distance between the mean values that you have chosen and each object in the data set. Excuse me. Now the question over here is ki what is the distance, or how do we calculate this distance? Okay, and for that, okay, you have to use the Euclidean law, or you can put it that I have to use the Euclidean distance formula for calculating the what you can say, calculating the distance between the centroid and the data object. Okay, you can see over here on the slide the Euclidean distance. Okay, here I am missing a square root for the this thing formula. Okay, so now what you got to do is, okay, after calculating the Euclidean distance, okay, the next thing that you have to do is step number 3. Now based on once for each and every point you have calculated the Euclidean distance, okay, you have to find out for which centroid I am getting the least distance. Okay, and based on that minimum distance, my data object will be assigned to that particular centroid cluster. Okay, now once that is done, now what I have to do is, okay, I have to recalculate the centroid in for step number 4, to recalculate the centroid for each of the cluster. Okay, now after the centroid has been recalculated, I have to go back to step 2. Okay, and using again the Euclidean distance, I have to calculate the minimum distance for all the data objects from for all the data objects from the new centroids that I have got. Okay, and this entire step from step number 2 to step number 4, I have to keep on repeating till I find that in 2 consecutive iterations there are no change in the centroids, or in other words, the clusters are not updated. Okay, I have to keep on repeating from step number 2 to step number 4. And that's it. That is the end of this lecture. Thank you for listening patiently.